It was supposed to be just another night, a routine shoot for the channel, me battling nature's fury in my custom van. I'd done it before. People love these videos, watching me face off against the elements while staying cozy in my little home on wheels. But tonight, the storm felt different, even from the start. I didn't realize how different until it was far too late. The storm had rolled in fast, faster than expected. I'd planned to get some B-roll before things got intense, shooting the calm before the chaos as I usually did. The snow had only just started to fall, light and soft, coating the world in a pristine blanket of white. The wind was picking up, making the air sharp and biting, but nothing too serious, yet. I grabbed my camera and stepped out of the van. My breath turned into clouds in front of me as I filmed the woods surrounding my parking spot. The trees stood tall, their branches heavy with the early snow, swaying slightly in the wind. The sound of the wind whistling through the forest was eerie, but I played it off as part of the experience. After a few shots of the van, I moved further away, wanting to capture the isolation, the wilderness. It's what my viewers loved, the sense that I was out there alone, fighting the elements. But as I stood there, framing up a shot of the van against the darkening sky, something changed. It wasn't the storm, not yet. The wind had picked up, sure, and the snow was starting to fall more heavily, but it wasn't that. It was a feeling, a sudden creeping dread that washed over me like ice water. The hair on the back of my neck stood up, and I swear, for a moment the forest felt alive, like something was watching me. I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone out there. I paused, lowering the camera for a moment, scanning the tree line. The wind rustled the branches, causing snow to fall in gentle cascades, but beyond that, nothing. No movement, no sound, just the wind. Still, the feeling of being watched lingered, and I couldn't help but feel like something was out there, just beyond the trees, hidden in the shadows. My breath caught in my throat. My heart beat a little faster as I tightened my grip on the camera, the lens still aimed at the van. I almost didn't want to turn my back on the forest. Something felt wrong. Then from the corner of my eye I saw movement, a flash of something dark slipping between the trees, so fast I could barely make it out. My body tensed. I whipped the camera toward it, heart pounding in my chest. I scanned the forest, zooming in on the shadows, trying to catch a glimpse of whatever it was. Nothing. Just trees, snow, and wind. I stood there for a long minute, every muscle in my body tense, listening. The wind howled, sending a sharp, cold gust against my face. My mind raced, trying to rationalize what I'd seen. A deer, maybe? A fox? The shadows playing tricks on me? Yeah, that had to be it. It's just the wind, I told myself. You're out here alone in a snowstorm. Your mind's playing games. But deep down I knew it wasn't just the wind. There was something out there. The feeling gnawed at me, but I pushed it aside. I had a video to make, and the storm was about to hit hard. I hurried back to the van, locking the doors behind me, trying to shake off the unease that had settled in my chest. I turned the camera back on, forcing a smile as I spoke to my audience, telling them about the storm, the snow, the cold, all the usual stuff. But that feeling, the creeping dread, wouldn't go away. As the storm grew worse, the van rocked in the wind and I started to feel more at ease. It was just the storm, just the wind. That's what I kept telling myself. But the night was far from over. Hours passed and the snow piled higher outside. I was filming an update, talking about how the storm was intensifying when I heard it. A screech, faint at first, but unmistakable. I paused mid-sentence, turning my head toward the window. The wind howled, rattling the windows, but the screech came again, louder this time. What the hell was that? I muttered, my voice barely above a whisper. I pointed the camera toward the window, showing the swirling snow outside. But all I saw was white. Maybe it was just the wind, scraping something against the van. That's when the knocking started. It wasn't a branch or snow falling from the roof. It was something solid, something deliberate, knocking against the van's side. I stood up, my heart racing. The camera was still rolling as I moved to the front of the van, peering out into the storm. Nothing, just endless snow. Then another knock, louder, from the back of the van. I jumped, spinning around, pointing the camera toward the rear. The knocking became more insistent, followed by that terrible screeching sound again. Metal against metal. My breath came in short, panicked gasps. I raced toward the front and turned on the headlights, flooding the snow-covered clearing with light. And then I saw it. Standing at the edge of the light just beyond the trees was the Wendigo. Tall, gaunt, its skin stretched tight over its bones, its eyes glowing with a cold, predatory light. It let out a shriek that cut through the howling wind, sending a wave of terror through me that I'd never felt before. I fumbled for the keys, my hands shaking as I tried to start the van. The engine sputtered in the cold, refusing to turn over as the Wendigo stalked closer, its long, skeletal arms reaching out. The van rocked violently as it slammed its hand against the side, trying to get in. I floored the gas pedal, but the tires spun uselessly in the deep snow. The creature was right at the driver's window now, its face twisted in a grotesque grin, its claws dragging along the side of the van, leaving deep gouges in the metal. The Wendigo screeched, slamming into the back of the van, knocking the van forward. "Come on, come on!" I shouted as I bounced around in the seat, holding onto the steering wheel. Finally, the tires caught, and I shot forward, snow spraying behind me. I didn't look back, I didn't stop. I just drove, the storm fading behind me as the creature's screams echoed in the distance. When I finally reached the main road, I pulled over, my body trembling, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The van was scratched and battered, the windows fogged up from the cold. But I was alive. That was it, no more, I'm done. This was the last show. Thank you all for tuning in to Cryptid Encounters. I truly appreciate your support and listening to these thrilling stories. If you enjoyed the content, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If there are any stories you'd love to see covered, feel free to comment below with your suggestions. Until next time.